Hello everybody, this is Jess from Dress Plans and Writes, and I'd like to explain to you how I track my habits for my one book July today. So you may notice that I changed out the pen I'm using. It's still a pilot friction pen. It actually has the same blue barrel inside that I used to have in the blue one. It's just that I thought that this one matches better with the overall setup, the leather here. And what's also nice is that I can put this pen here inside this pocket and close it. I'm not doing that now because I don't want to, but I can keep this inside and it's very easy to store. So just in case you were wondering what I'm doing, because this doesn't have a pen loop, it's no problem for me because I can put it in this pocket here. All right, and another thing that I added to my setup is this ollie clip from Filofax. Actually, pink isn't really my favorite color, but the golden flecks on this look quite pretty and they match quite well with the leather of my TN. So that's what I added to my setup as well, to keep my pages from closing or falling shut, so that I can just keep this open at all times. But now let's get to the things that I'm tracking. First of all, I actually found a use for my monthly spread. That's a good thing, right? And the reason is that on Tuesday, the 29th, Heart Breathing's Sarah Cannon announced the Don't Break the Chain Writing Challenge. The background behind this is that the American comedian Seinfeld said that he writes a joke every day and then he makes a red X in his calendar and then he simply doesn't break the chain. That's how he builds, or how he's built a habit of writing one joke every day. That's the background behind this. And what I'm doing here is not making a red X every day in my calendar, but I've got a bunch of stickers that I haven't been using. They're from a shop called Plot Your Work that's unfortunately closed since August 2020. And they actually said they'd reopen in October 2020, but never did. So I suppose it's just remaining closed, which is sad because the stickers are lovely, but I haven't been using them. So I thought that a good way to actually make use of them is to put one of them, I've got more of these actually, they were on a separate sheet that I just put in my sticker paper insert from Traveler's Company. So they're here. And I take one sticker every day and then I just put it down here. And at the end of the day, or after my writing session, I write down the number of words that I've written. Now you may ask yourselves, well, why is the sticker there, but the word count isn't? The thing is, the idea that I had is to put down the sticker as sort of a commitment for myself to actually do the writing, because I have to peel the sticker off if I don't write. And that's my way of tricking myself to actually do the writing challenge, because I don't want to peel off stickers. It's difficult and it might damage the sticker, it might damage the paper, doesn't look that good, because these aren't washi stickers, they aren't easily repositionable. So that's my way of tricking myself to actually do the thing that I want to do. Because sometimes I'm like, well, I'm not really motivated, or yes, I've got some other stuff to do, and does it really matter if I write for 15 or 20 minutes? I won't get much done anyway, and so on and so on. But the thing is, I recently read a quote, or I read Getting into Print by Jack London, the American writer, and he said that he sets himself a daily stint. So the quote is from Getting into Print, this short essay that he published in The Editor in 1903, concentrate your sweat on one story rather than dissipate it over a dozen. That's something that seems very logical to me. I usually only write one story at a time. The only exception to the rule is that maybe sometimes I edit and work on another story at the same time. I think many people do that, but I don't work on more than one story at a time. I think that makes perfect sense. Maybe there are some people who can do that. I can't. I need to focus on one thing. Don't loaf and invite inspiration. Light out after it with a club. And if you don't get it, you will nonetheless get something that looks remarkably like it. So don't wait for inspiration, search for it. And if you don't find it, just write anyway, because what you produce will look like what you would produce if you were inspired normally. And if it's not that good, then you can still edit later. Set yourself a stint, meaning a word count goal, and see that you do that stint each day. You will have more words to your credit at the end of the year. So don't just occasionally write maybe 2,000, 3,000, 6,000 words a day, and then don't write for the rest of the week. Do it consistently. And there we are, habit formation. He recommends basically the same thing that Saintfield does with his X that he marks down and then doesn't break the chain. Actually, as far as I know, Jack London has written 1,000 words every single day for most of his adult life. I'm not doing 1,000 words. What I'm doing is just 200. The reason is that I found out that when I'm not motivated at all, don't really feel inspired, don't really have the time, what I can do is something in between 200 and 400 words. That works. So I set 200, the bar at the lowest level, something that is easily reachable. And I will attempt to do that in less than 30 minutes. Should take me maybe 15, 20, not longer actually. But sometimes, I dwell on things and I'm like, oh, well, this sentence, is that right that way? Could I still change it? Could I switch the words around, etc., etc.? And no, I said to myself, I don't want that. Just write the thing. Done is better than perfect. I can always edit later. That's the reminder to myself. What I'm working on is something I don't want to show you, but it gets explained a bit here. The baseline, the minimum goal I set for myself is to write at least 6,000 words. So if I only write 200 each day, I crossed out the 10th and the 24th because these are 2 Saturdays where I won't have much time, I would get to 5,800 words. But I think it's quite easy to find like 200 more along the way. So that's the baseline goal. The ambitious goal is to finish the 4 short stories that are written down here and start with a longer story that's also here. If I don't, the projects I didn't finish or didn't start will be transferred to August. So I'm planning to continue with this challenge for August and hopefully for the rest of the year as well. To really take to heart what Jack London says here. Do that stint each day, you will have more words to your credit at the end of the year. So you can calculate that. It would amount to something like 70,000 words over the whole year if I only ever wrote 200 words each day. And that's quite a lot. So that's my goal, to do that every day. And depending on how much I write on the better days, I will maybe finish 2 short stories and start with the longer one. Maybe I will finish 3 short stories. I don't know yet. But this is the goal that I have. And then let's talk about something else. How do I get to maintain that habit? I'm reading along with everyone else who wants to do that, with Carrie Harling, who set Atomic Habits by James Clear as the book that people who want to do the habit challenge or the habit thing that belongs to One Book July, what they read. I already started. I've written this and I'm somewhere in here. I think the first law is where I'm at. I actually do something fairly similar to habit stacking that gets explained in this book already. And the thing is, here are the habits that I track. that I always track. So it's not something that I just track for 21 days or 60 days until the habit is formed and then I don't track it anymore. No, these are things I want to track long term because I don't want to fall off of them. Playing the guitar is something where I said I'm always doing that after dinner. Habit stacking says that you pick a habit that you already have and that won't change, and then stack another habit on top of that. Dinner is something that I always have, and then I say, after that, I play the guitar. And after the guitar, I write. So these are the two habits that are fixed that I stack. And these are the things that I want to do every single day of the week. That's the main goal for this July. Reading is actually something that I normally do anyway. I will find a bit of time to read, maybe during lunch if I have lunch alone, maybe sometime in the evening. Whenever I have some free time and it's not much, I pick up a book or I pick up my smartphone and go to my Kindle app and then read. So that's something I don't want to stack or don't need to stack because I normally do it anyway. And if there is a day that I miss, it's not that bad anyway, because reading is really something that I love and that doesn't cost much energy to do. And that's the important thing. Writing, being creative, costs energy. Playing the guitar, picking up the instrument, picking up the notes, sitting down, figuring out how to play something new, practicing so that I don't make mistakes with the things that I already play, that costs more energy, at least for me, than just sitting down somewhere, relaxing, reading a book. That's something that always goes for me. I know some people have difficulty with that, and then of course it does make sense to stack reading as a hobby. If you say, well, I think reading fiction is easy for me, but I want to read this specialized book about whatever topic. Maybe I want to read a history book or a book on science, and that's difficult for me. Then of course it makes sense to stack that and to really track that you're doing that regularly. So it really depends on what you do here. Duolingo practice is something that I either do in the evening before I go to sleep or in the morning. That's something when I've got time in the morning, then I do it in the morning. When I need to rush in the morning, I do it in the evening before I go to bed. So that's also something that is somewhat stacked with a bit of flexibility. Journaling is something that I do every evening. And I mean with journaling here, just making a short entry of what I did that day, a short diary entry. Creative journaling is something that I do occasionally, that I don't really stack. I actually did it more regularly when I had the Cousin Avec, but the Cousin Avec is finished now. And if you've watched my latest video, there I said that I don't really want to keep up with doing that much journaling. I want to take a bit of a break. That's why journaling here only means the short entry for the day. Neck and shoulder, that is my exercise program. So I'm just doing some exercises to stretch my shoulders, to stretch my back, because I sit a lot, also during my job, and I do things where I have a seating position that's not that comfortable for my shoulders, meaning when I play the guitar. So to keep my shoulders, my back from hurting, I do these exercises. Instagram is actually something that I don't really want to track as a habit. What I'm tracking here is, did I post yes or no? But I don't have a posting schedule. I don't really want to anyway. Want to do Instagram every single day because it would take away the joy for me. For me, it's just something that I do occasionally. My aim is to do it at least once a week. I don't always do that, but it's something I want to keep low-key so that it doesn't get a chore for me. That's important to me because it's a hobby that I just want to do occasionally. I know that some people want to post on Instagram every single day. Some people actually manage to do that. Or some people say, I want to post every single Friday or Saturday. Fine. Great for you if you have this goal. I don't have it. And this is just another website where I'm like, okay, I have to prepare a post for the next day. And I just track if I did that. You could say the serious habits are writing and playing the guitar. The others are something that is on a bit of a lower level. That's my tracking system. As for the journal entries in this book, what I'm planning to do for the time being is to read Atomic Habits and then make excerpts for it that I think are useful and write them down on these pages. I already prepared this one. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I prepare a journaling page with just a bit of decoration and then I write down there. I know there are people who do a lot more creative things with their journal spreads. Sometimes I do that as well, but my main hobbies are writing and playing the guitar. Being otherwise creative is something that I do occasionally. That's not really something where I want to hone my abilities in the same way that I want to hone them with my writing and my music. All right, I think that's it for this time. I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please like and consider subscribing as well, please. It would really help me to grow my channel a little bit. I know I'm not the most regular poster of videos. I only do that when I have the time to sit down and make a video, but it would really help me if you considered liking and subscribing. That's it for this time. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you hopefully next time. Bye!